Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another tank review of the super heavy tank, the T-28. This is an American Tier 4 tank destroyer that sits at a bell rating of 6.3. It has a 500 brake horsepower engine which makes this behemoth travel at 13 km per hour. This is due to its heavy frame, which is 59,000 kilograms. The notable difference between the T-28 and the T-95 is the removal of the outer tracks. However, the T-28 still remains the same frontal armor and a 105mm T5 gun from the T-95. This vehicle will cost 7,480 Golden Eagles, although the prices may change at the time of this video. To play this tank there are only two ways, attack and defend. This is due to its slow nature and also armor layout. One of the best things about this tank is its frontal armor. At 305mm, nothing can penetrate you unless enemies are using heat FS, so charging up is a viable option. When using this tank, some things must be considered before advancing. Number 1. Map knowledge. You must plan your route ahead of time. Before advancing into a spot, make sure that you cannot be flanked, as this tank doesn't turn well and also doesn't have a turret to defend itself. Number 2. Terrain usage. Use the terrain for additional cover and objects for protection as well. Use the terrain for additional cover and objects for protection. Also, because your tank is so low to the ground, it's able to hide and surprise the enemy who doesn't pay attention to you at all. Number 3. Rear. Do not expose your rear. Number 4. Never go alone. The T-28 is a brawler, but it isn't a tank that you should be brawling alone. Make sure you help out your team and make sure that they have your sides and back covered as you rain shell upon the enemy's front. Defense. When you know that the enemies are coming to your area, reverse and try to angle as much as you can. There's nothing much more about defense, as this tank is a very slow and heavily armored tank. Furthermore, if you have planned your route and made sure that you are not going too deep into the enemy without any backup, the defense option wouldn't much be needed. Plus points to the T-28. Number 1. It has one of the thickest frontal armor in game. Number 2. A very good and powerful gun with access to good shells. Number 3. At the current barrel rating, nothing can penetrate you in the front. The negative points. It is heavy and slow. Side shots mean death. Can be detracted with ease, which allows enemies to flank you, and that would mean death. Lower glacis is vulnerable to HE fire, which means death. Flat surface means artillery is likely to cause death. The commander and driver cupolas are only 76mm thick. APHE shells can penetrate and cause casualty amongst crew. In other words, death. So welcome back, guys. Now, as you can see, that I'm taking my T-28 towards Charlie. And right now we are in Berlin, the map. The reason why I took Charlie was mainly because Charlie has a lot of urban combat styles or urban combat terrains. A lot of buildings. I know that one of the negative sides of the T-28 is that this tank doesn't excel in urban combat, but I beg to differ. I actually quite like urban combat. The reason why is I get to protect my flanks against the sides of the buildings. Now, if I were to go towards B, that would mean complete death towards my side. However, Alpha is a little less open. However, the journey towards Alpha will cause my imminent death. So I decided to take C. One of the most important things is map knowledge. Now, I am currently approaching Charlie. As you can see, this tank is very slow, so most of the allied teams have captured the points already. Now, I do realize that one of my allies in front of me is currently engaging someone. I am checking Alpha just to see if there's any enemies on the side. I don't see anything. I have a friendly medium tank in front of me that is currently being engaged by 2 heavy tanks. It is a Tiger. Now I do realize that there is an enemy tank in front of me. I am moving very slowly. As you can see, this tank is incredibly slow. And planning your route ahead of time is very important. Because if you were to make a mistake at Alpha, you can't just drive up to Charlie. It doesn't work like that. Once you're at a particular spot, you gotta really commit to it. And I see this STRV in front of me and I decide, alright, I'm gonna help him out. Because there are heavy tanks in front of him. And I don't want one of my best premium tanks to die. I see him currently get engaged with this Tiger 2H. I didn't realize he was there until too late. I shoot, ricochets the first shot. I don't know how that was possible. Now I am shooting machine gun to mark the enemy on the map to make sure that the allies know what they're doing. The STRV does pop defensive smoke, which is very good actually. However, he is also still being marked by a friendly, which I'm not too sure why he was doing that. But I move the tank up and I angle it slightly towards the right. Now, in case you guys are wondering, that Tiger was dead already. I am checking out the binoculars. The reason why I was marking a machine gun was to let my teammates know that there was a Tiger 2H in front of me and someone should probably destroy it. Actually, I'm not even sure if the guy was dead or not, but I did get an assist on it, so I presume he is dead. The STRV realizes there's a lot of tanks. I told him on chat, let me go first, protect my rears. There's a Tiger in front of me. I don't want to give him too much of my side, so I'm angling it just a little bit. Rotate it quickly. Point the turret. He's AFK for some weird reason. Crew knocked out, first kill of the game. Now this is a very good spot because the ground dips below and it actually protects my flanks. So I'm not going to be so worried on the overhead shots. I do realize that there is also another tank behind that Tiger. At this point there was no HUDs. This is realistic battle after all. There is a Panther D on the maps right now, which I never realized it. But I quickly saw the tank and I heard a ping on my left. Really didn't want to get flanked, so I bugged down in this position for a while. The STRV moves up and I decide, alright, I'm going to help up as well. STRV still has 4 rockets that he hasn't used. The Firefly destroys an RU-251, which is a very good kill actually, considering that it is a Firefly. I'm guessing it's a 4.0 Firefly. And I do see this Panther D behind the shed. The STRV is currently engaging him. I am very cautious on my left though. I don't like it like this. Now, one thing about this tank is it is so slow and it is so heavy. Climbing up terrain is going to be a problem. However, now we have a friendly Virant. And the Panther D is dead. However, I also realized that there was another Panther D behind him. Fire a shot to check if he's still alive. Non-penetration. It was my fault. I quickly turned my tank to see a Tiger, and luckily he shoots my frontal armor. And I'm right now in a bit of a pickle because I don't want to get engaged by that Panther D, so I'm going to save my shot first. Angle it beyond, see the hull, shoot him, he's out. Now I quickly turn my tank towards the left. I don't want to get engaged by the Tiger. The Tiger, I think, was aiming for my cupola. However, I do have the bush defense upgrade. I put it all around the cupola so they couldn't see. The Tiger E is moving up, and this is where one of the big weaknesses of this tank comes into play. The barrel. As you can see currently now, the Tiger E player is a very good player. He basically shot my barrel and rendered me useless. And he knows the minute I stop moving, I cannot repair. He shoots my barrel again, completely destroying it. I don't want to do anything. I do realize that there's still 3 planes in the sky and there's a friendly medium tank behind me. So what I do, I shoot my machine guns onto his tank, marking him on the map. And as you can see, as I called it, the planes are coming in to help me out. One plane is currently coming in to dive. I get hit on the tracks. Boom. Of course, that Viren pilot dies sadly in the mix, but the Viren pilot has critical the Tiger E really badly, and I use this time to actually repair my tank. And the Tiger E is dead. Somehow or other, I still get knocked out on the side. I am marking the Panther 470 on my right. He is also marking me, however, I know that he cannot penetrate me. His tanks is not strong enough to actually do it. Another assist on that kill. Basically, I marked up the Tiger and the Panther to help my teammates get the kill. Now, this is the point where I have to wait and just observe the enemy tanks. The Tiger is back. I think he had a backup. Typhoon is down. Typhoon got shot down by an Oswin, lost his wing. Now, I gotta make sure that I protect my air support as much as they protected me. Third kill of the game, took out the Tiger. He's completely out. Now, make sure you always machine gun the enemy when they come out of spawn, because if you don't, they're gonna be invulnerable. I reversed the tank to make sure that nothing spawns and takes out my flank. I do know that there's still an AA truck active on the other side. However, I also know that another guy has spawned, and it is the same guy, Mr. Nick. And he's this time spawned in a whirlwind. I do see him and I see the traces, and I decide, alright, enough's enough, I gotta do something about it. But at the same time, I really didn't know that there was any more tanks on the other side. I didn't know there was just an Ostwin. However, the Ostwin also can still penetrate and kill me. Now, once I checked out the area and see that there was no more enemy tanks, I decided enough, I'm going to charge up. Now, this spot that I found was a very good spot because it is sitting in front of the enemy spawn camp. There's still one more tank. However, there is going to be two more guys spawning if I'm not mistaken. And this tank is really slow. It's really slow. Even on a downhill, it doesn't really accelerate much. Let's see. Up, 12, 13. Nope. That's about it. Yep. This tank is slower than my grandmother on crutches. Now I am advancing into the enemy spawn point. I don't really like to play this style of engagement. However, I am making sure that there are no more enemy tanks. I don't think there's any more left on this flank. However, there is going to be one more guy that is spawning, I think. I'm not too sure what happened to that Oswin though. And I just parked the bus over here. Friendlies are shooting up the dead whirlwind, although another whirlwind has been spotted. I immediately just move up my tank. I wait for a while. I don't want to shoot first until I see the hit markers. Fired a shot, 4th kill of the game. Now at this point, the German team is completely destroyed. They cannot beat us in any way or any form. There is still one more plane. And I think he's going to be crashing. I'm not sure. One more tank is definitely going to be spawning, I think, because when I looked at the map, there was still a player that had a lot of points, and it was this guy, the same guy that I killed earlier. Now, I see what I'm doing right now is I'm shooting out my machine guns because I want to make sure that he is being marked, and he is unable to penetrate my front. I just angle the tank, take my time, turn it, aim for his ammo rack, and the 5th kill of the game. Ace in a day. Now, as you can see, my defensive movement was simple. Give him my front. I did not give him my sides. I never gave him my rear. At no point in this game did I ever show my side completely to an enemy team. I made sure that my front was completely angled, and I destroyed the enemy team. Now let's go up to the scoreboard. Now we finished in the game in 6th place with 5 kills and 2 assists, only scoring 1,761 points. That's also in due nature because I couldn't capture any points. This tank is incredibly slow. Over here, as you can see, I got a reward of 6,766 modifications research. There is no point as this tank is premium, so everything is aced. I did get a vehicle research of 8,728 points, 5 ground kills destroyed, 2 assists, 1 critical hits, and 17 hits. So the battle activity of 88 points, 88%. As you can see, this tank is not too bad, really. So my honest review about this tank is, where do I put it actually? I do like this tank. I find it's a very good tank. I find that it is capable of doing its work as a tank destroyer. It does its job well as a tank destroyer and also as a support for your allied team. However, this tank has a very, I mean, it has a lot of problems. It's slow, doesn't have a turret, and its sides and its rear are what will actually kill it. However, it's a box tank, so you can't really expect much from a box tank style of a gameplay. I would say a few things before I give my final review about this tank. If you want to get this tank, you cannot play this tank at every single map. Open maps are a big no-no for this tank, unless if you're able to hide on the cover and make sure that no enemy team is coming up towards you. Also, this tank is not to be played in every map because it is so slow that by the time you actually reach to your attack point, the entire enemy team would have either completely died or your allied team would have all completely died. That's because this tank is really slow. So I hope you guys are well aware of it. I would definitely recommend to get this tank. I quite really like it. I can't wait to get the T95 and do a review about that, because that by far is one of my most favorite and feared tanks in the game actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe on my channel. It'll really help out me in the long run. So take care guys. Peace out. I'm out.